Today, we're talking to three new elected officials on what their top priorities are in the 2026 agenda. I'm Jody Kenny. And joining us this Sunday is State Assemblymember Michael Cashman, who discusses agriculture and how he plans to represent farmers in the legislature. Plus, Glens Falls Mayor Diana Palmer is with us. She talks about infrastructure and protecting the environment. And later, Woodstock Town Supervisor Anula Courtis shares how her experiences in life inform her in the decisions she will be making as she runs the town. All that and so much more happening right now on In Focus. All right, let's begin today's conversation with State Assemblymember Michael Cashman. Great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay, so you were voted in during the special election this past November to represent Clinton and Franklin counties and portions of Essex County. And the 2026 legislative session is underway. So what is at the top of your agenda for you this year?
Yeah, so I was really pleased to be able to actually introduce some legislation in the 48 days that remained and part of 2025. And top of the list is affordability. Working really hard to address the electric rates that I've heard from my constituents throughout the 60 days of the campaign and in my previous work as town supervisor. And we want to continue some of the legacy work that Assemblyman Jones worked on and working with our colleagues to make New York State more affordable.
And you're also focused on housing, education, and affordability. What kind of changes do you think are needed since New Yorkers continue to feel the crunch, like nothing's changed and times are tough right now for a lot of us?
Yeah, I think it's really critical that for the 115th district, that's a rural district, that we're looking for North Country solutions to North Country problems. We also need to make sure that we find the connective tissue, housing as to childcare, as to transportation and rural healthcare. We can't be working on things in singularity anymore. We need to find ways to lift up these larger things as a collection.
Right, and I feel like the last time you and I talked, we talked about this issue and about affordability and also about housing for various levels of financial means. Could you talk a little bit more in depth on how the North Country and in particular your district is a little bit different when it comes to what the needs may be than, for say, a big city?
Sure. So take for a moment, a lot of our local municipalities need assistance with their infrastructure, whether it be water, sewer, or both. If a new housing developer wants to come in, they want to have those good, strong veins for infrastructure to see a new subdivision. So we need to work with our local municipalities. Our seniors, for example, are telling me that they would like to maybe get into a smaller unit, but there isn't senior housing in their area. But if we could provide opportunities for seniors to get into some different type of housing, it would also open up that housing stock to young families to move into maybe a larger home and start their families. So again, all of these items are cross-pollinated with one another, and we need to open the aperture of these conversations.
So true, and it's so funny as you're talking about senior housing. You and I aren't there just yet, but I have noticed that climbing the stairs is getting a little bit more difficult, and a single level property that's safe for aging in place is really kind of critical for a lot of people in our state. I know that your district in particular is agriculture specific. Is that difficult to represent, and how do you plan to have a voice for this community?
Sure. So I've actually been holding a number of town halls after the election to continue a model that I believe in firmly, and it's listen, learn, and lead. The best ideas are probably going to come directly from the people that I serve. And it's about bringing their voices down to Albany and finding a way to leverage it, whether it be the farmer, the senior, the veteran, the student, the small business owner. That's why if you look at my committees, I'm really excited about the work ahead, from aging to tourism to agriculture, and also chairing the New York Canadian Task Force. These are all opportunities to leverage the voice of the North Country down in Albany and beyond.
Do you feel like farmers have different needs?
They do have different needs. You know, it's about, again, the infrastructure, but it's also about the cost burdens and cutting the red tape, providing more opportunities that will service them throughout the North Country and each of the corridors too within, the Tri-County area. You have folks that are doing maple, you have folks that are doing corn, cattle, etc. So being responsive to those individual needs is critical.
I believe you were previously the youngest person to ever be the town supervisor in the town of Plattsburgh. What did you learn about infrastructure in your time there?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm most proud of during my time as the Plattsburgh Town Supervisor is we actually launched a 24 million water and wastewater capital plan. And we boil it down to the really simple things. It has to be about health and safety, sustainability, and economic development. Those things really help a community continue to move forward, but it is a moral and ethical responsibility of local government, which is your bread and butter, to make sure that you're protecting infrastructure. And many of our communities throughout the Tri-County area need that support. Government needs to support the people from the time they turn on the tap to brush their teeth to the roads that they're driving to go to work. Infrastructure is critical.
Do you feel like your role as town supervisor has informed you in your new role? And if so, how?
It certainly has. I'm a local government guy. We have to continue to make sure that all layers of government are working together, whether it be from our localities to our counties to our state to the federal government. I'm looking forward to bringing a common sense approach. One of my favorite things about serving both as town supervisor and now as the assemblyman is I get to see my constituents, whether it be in Hannaford or a local event. We're the closest to the people, and that means being able to listen to them directly and also respond in real time.
I know economic development and growth is also very important to you. What are your thoughts on Governor Hochul's State of the State?
I'm still looking at a lot of the proposals. I'll tell you this right now. Affordability has to be the cornerstone to the work that's occurring down in Albany. And childcare is one of those issues that is universal, whether it be up here in the North Country or down in the city. However, the current proposal leaves the North Country behind in its current design. So I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues to make sure that we're looking at a universal childcare program that's going to support rural America.
Oh, okay. We look forward to hearing more from you and your representation of the North Country. State Assemblymember Michael Cashman, we appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and coming up, we meet the new mayor of Glens Falls, her plans for the city and what's to come. Stay with us. And thanks for staying with us. We now have Glens Falls Mayor Diana Palmer. Thank you so much for joining us. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you too.
So congratulations on this new role. What are you most looking forward to as mayor?
There's so many things. Glens Falls is having an amazing moment right now. We are seeing a plethora of new development, new businesses coming in. We have the same strengths we've always had, which are a community that is so involved, steps up. We've got parks, natural resources, recreation, arts, all of these things. So I'm excited to be at the helm at a time where we have so much opportunity.
You were previously a council member for Glens Falls. What did you learn in that position that you think will help you as mayor, will translate as mayor?
Yeah, one of the things that is very important to me is to change some of the things we do in long-term planning in the city, which is something that I got to start that work as a council person. So I worked pretty hard to encourage the city to apply to get funds to update our comprehensive plan. And now I'm in a position where we are about to have our first draft of our comprehensive plan. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that, getting public input on it, and using it as a roadmap to continue to grow and develop in our city. I have also posted a position for a director of planning and zoning. And if anybody's listening and is interested, please send us an application. It's a perfect opportunity for somebody to come in and really take that plan as a roadmap. We also will be updating our zoning code. And all of this is intended to make thoughtful decisions about our future, make the city easy to work with and friendly to people who want to live here, work here, and do business here. And those are the things I'm excited about. Yep.
And I know that cutting costs and fiscal planning are some of your top priorities as well. How are you planning on making affordability possible for your residents?
Well, one thing that I'm doing in terms of budgeting is I would like to move the city from kind of short-term looking at a snapshot of the budget to long-term financial planning. So I would like to get us to multi-year budgeting, which we're on track to move in that direction. I will be having an audit and finance committee meeting regularly. I will be working with the controller and the council to make sure that we get good backup information for any financial decision we make. So all of that is really important. I've also made some changes right off the bat that have consolidated some positions that will increase our expertise and our ability in-house while also saving money for taxpayers. So I've already initiated some things that will start to lend itself to affordability, and we're going to keep working on that diligently.
I know protecting the environment and being proactive with climate change is also important to you. Do you have any ideas on how to make Glens Falls more green or more energy efficient?
Glens Falls has been a leader in sustainability. We are a climate smart community. We have a climate smart community task force. We have worked on clean energy fleet and considering other options for power, and we will continue those efforts going forward. We have a very wonderful, active, and engaged population that wants to participate in these efforts, and our Climate Smart Community Task Force is made up of people in the government and community members who care about that, and we'll continue to prioritize that work.
I know that housing and infrastructure is an issue that we hear in communities all across upstate New York. What are your thoughts on the infrastructure and housing needs for your city?
I think we need housing at all levels of affordability in Glens Falls, and I really enjoy new housing projects that have mixed levels of income embedded into them. So we have a lot of development going on South Street in Glens Falls right now. We got a DRI Downtown Revitalization Initiative grant, and that's really coming to fruition now. One of our big projects that's now taking applications for residents and has a few people moved in is a mixed income housing development. And so you have people with all different backgrounds, all different levels of income living in the same place because that's a place that they have something in common. They want to be downtown or they work near there. So I think that's important. We have population who maybe would move out of their single family housing because their children have grown up and they need a new condo to move into. And then we have young families trying to buy their first home. We have a first time home buyer program in Glens Falls. So we're a very friendly place to welcoming new people. And we just need to make sure that we keep adding all levels of housing in our community.
I think it's fun to hear from you because I'm not sure I've ever talked with the Glens Falls mayor before.
No.
Are you hoping that, you can kind of bridge the gap and open up Glens Falls and introduce people to, this airs all across the state, introduce people maybe from Buffalo to what Glens Falls has to offer?
I would love for people from all across the state to come and visit us and see what Glens Falls has to offer. I will say we're a very unique city. We're 4 square miles, but we have a world-class art museum. We have our own hockey and baseball team. We have a thriving restaurant scene. I mean, people come from all over to come to our restaurants. We have beautiful natural resources. We have trails, we have parks, we're the foothills of the Adirondack. You can still afford to live here, and we have great schools and a walking school district, a walkable community. It's a great place to be. The cost of living is good, the opportunity is good, and we have emerging industries in the area, and we have a local community college that we can partner with to train a skilled workforce. So there's just so much opportunity here, and I hope everyone comes and takes part in it.
Glens Falls Mayor Diana Palmer, thank you so much for joining me, and good luck on your tenure, and here's to success for your community.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
And when we return, we talk with the new Woodstock town supervisor and discuss how previous experiences have helped her handle her new role. We'll be right back. Welcome back to In Focus as we discuss new electeds and legislators. We are joined now by Woodstock Town Supervisor Anula Courtis. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me today.
We're really excited to have you. You were just sworn in as supervisor just recently here on New Year's Day. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you hope to accomplish in your first year on the job? And I understand that there's been a little change and that you actually have to run again because they're trying to realign all of the elections. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, and I'll start with the reverse. So the second part of the question, I have been 9 days on the job. I actually had to go back to the Democratic Committee and announce that I'm running all over again. So that's an interesting conundrum for a few of us. So the town supervisors and the legislators are in the same boat with that. But what I hope to accomplish is actually, we've already started the process of the work in this short period of time. We had our very first town board meeting, so we set a nice tone for the future of how we're going to conduct business with the public. We've started to look at internal processes here with the town. We put better communication protocols in place, especially around public safety, working with our chief of police. When I took office, we did not have control over our digital presence. So we put in place a new Facebook page so that residents can trust the information that they see. I've been meeting with partners at the county and state level to position our town, Woodstock, for grants and for long-term infrastructure improvements. We're very fortunate to have won some grants related to youth programming. So we're looking at how we're going to manage that. So it's been a little bit of a busy 10 working days on the job. And then there's this interesting component of learning things that I never thought I would know a whole lot about, including cemetery plots and how those are managed and what it's like to sell one of those. So it's been a crash course in how the town really works. Looking forward, the idea is to be ambitious. We're not going to hesitate. We're going to walk forward very carefully, very thoughtfully, but it's going to be a very ambitious plan. Two of the items that three of the items that I'd like to mention is I'm looking at how we build a Parks and Recreation division for our town. So Woodstock, New York is a beautiful place here in the Hudson Valley, and I think that we can maintain our properties a lot better. So that's something that's very high up on my agenda. The other thing that is high up on my agenda is water safety. So Woodstockers are very aware of forever chemicals in our water. We are lucky to have very low levels of a problem, but we'd like to achieve no problems. And so to that end, looking at opportunities to put in place a carbon filter system so that we can protect our residents who drink our municipal drinking water. That's something that's really high up on the list as well as operational efficiencies. So some of the financial systems and things like that require multiple entries. So we're going to be looking at how can we streamline things a lot more. And finally, we're going to bring arts to Woodstock. You know, we're a town full of artists, and what we want to do is actually bring artists together. So we are brainstorming what that might look like and how the town can support those types of events where a community can come together and artists can showcase what they do best and bring joy to our town and to the residents in this town.
Something you said earlier sparked an interest in my thought process. You said trust. Why is rebuilding public trust in local government more important now than ever?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a big question. Starting on a national level, trust has been broken. So we have had folks run for office who say they're going to do something and then they didn't. So the public, I think, in this day and age, more than ever, really want to work with and really just they want to trust people, right? Nobody's perfect. This job is not about being a miracle worker. This job is not about having all of the answers, but this job is about telling the truth. And that has not always happened in the past. It doesn't happen on a national level, and it doesn't happen on a local level. So I think that that's something that's really important. We can disagree. We can disagree vigorously, but respectfully. But at the same time, I think it's important for folks to know where their public officials stand and to know that we're fighting a good fight for the interest of the majority of our residents. And that's something that's really important to me.
I wanted to know, before I let you go, what sort of challenges are you expecting in this role, and how do you plan to tackle them?
Oh, well, another great question. I anticipate that there are going to be challenges with things that I don't know. I don't know. Let's just get that out there. I think that the majority of town employees and residents are ready for change. We're going to have some folks who don't want change, and that's something that we'll work on together. I think that there have been very contentious issues in the past. So the idea of having music versus quiet, this is something that's really important to the town of Woodstock. How can you have a peaceful Sunday afternoon, and how do our artists play and perform, bringing visitors to town and again, showcasing these wonderful arts. So I think some of those items were handled in a way that it was very contentious in the past. And my goal is to have the right team of people here, the right administration, work with our residents to bring us together to some common solution in a more peaceful manner. I think that's going to be a challenge at first.
Yeah, but it sounds like you have a really great plan, and you're really thoughtful on what your town needs. So I really appreciate you talking with me today. Woodstock Town Supervisor Anula Courtis, thank you so much for your time, and good luck in your new role.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for watching this edition of In Focus. I'm Jody Kenny. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. To keep up with important issues impacting our communities and hear more conversations with the people who are shaping the future, subscribe to our channel. You can also download our app or find Spectrum News on your TV for balanced, in-depth political coverage and more.